Hello, everyone. Thank you, Lisa. Here we go again with our how to negotiate subject. So I would like to emphasize that this is a very important question when we are talking about entrepreneurial journey, that you know how to negotiate. Because this is a part of your journey and you don't need to like it, but you have to know it. You have to know the stages of the negotiation. So my name is Ivana Radic. You met me before. I'm a business therapist, and I'm also doing education webinars and education workshops. And also I'm a PR manager. This is the 5th year of my entrepreneurial journey. So I can tell you that negotiations are a really important part of my journey. So how to negotiate? We almost always think about negotiations when we see, leaders, political leaders, they are negotiating something, but you who have children, you know that they are always negotiating something with you. Maybe your partner is negotiating something with you. So you have to, see how to do it and what is important in this journey. So what we will do in this webinar, first, what you will learn, what is definition of negotiations, how to prepare to negotiate. You will understand the differences between two major styles, cooperation and competition. And we will discuss Harvard rules of negotiations and some tips and tricks for you at the end. You can start asking your questions in the Q&A. I will be very pleased if you have any. So first, definition of negotiation. A negotiation is a method by which people settle differences. So if you are going to have negotiations, you need some kind of dependence between two parties. If you don't have it, if you don't have conflict of interest, then you don't have negotiations. You can, make a deal, and then there is no need for negotiations. So the goal of the agreement of negotiations is the goal of negotiation is an agreement, and more or less this is a balance of power. You have to, make it even at some point if this is something you want to do. If you want to work with other party and the other party want to work with you, then you have to have some kind of agreement. Stages of negotiation, we can put them in 5 stages: prepare, information exchange, bargain, conclude, and execute. And I cannot emphasize how important it is to prepare negotiation. In negotiation, building trust is very, very important, and your communication skills also. Sometimes they are really critical, and you need to work on these skills in the future. So best scenario for single negotiator, if you're going to some, I don't know, vendor or somebody, and what are the best scenario for you? If you have just one person on the opposite side and you are from this side, if you are competitive, this is good for you, and the other party is cooperative, then this is really, the best case scenario, because you will get what you want. The second best scenario, if you are two of you are cooperative, you are behaving cooperative, this is really good. Then the worst case is if you are cooperative and the other party is competitive because they want the most for them. And the worst best case is if you are both competitive, then usually you will not close the deal, or it will be, like cross fingers or something in your pocket. So you have to think about that. So if we are going to compare this cooperative and competitive style, I would like to say that in cooperative negotiation, there is no objective reality. There is only subjective reality as well as imagination. The fundamental issue is what the people really want. This is something very important, what they want and they want to accomplish. Everyone wins most if both parties win, and we do not align to problems but only to solutions. So if we look at the objective in competitive, getting more than other person, this is good for you, but this is not good for the other person. And also when you vice versa. In cooperative, satisfaction of both sides is very important. Everybody is satisfied, everything is great. The frame, competitive behavior style is short term because more or less you don't have mutual satisfaction. So in cooperative style will bring you long-term frame, a long-term relationship. Regarding relationship in competitive, you don't care about other person. You care about yourself and getting what you want. In cooperative, it is important to both of you. In competitive behavior, the other person is your opponent. And in cooperative, it is my partner, because this is partnership, this is a relationship. Attitude in competitive way is that's your problem, solve it, I don't care. In cooperative, can I help? Can we find some solutions that will fit both of us? It will be good for us. Regarding the process, in competitive way, we are using some maybe dirty tricks, we are antagonistic, and in cooperative, if you want to solve the problem jointly, you know, all of us, we want to solve something and to have a good agreement for satisfaction. The result in competitive way style is good for A, bad for B, and in cooperative, it is good for both sides. So it is clear what kind of style is better for you. And the result in relationship in competitive way, reserved, suspicious, and sometimes hostile. In cooperative, trusting, evolving, and steady. That's why this is long-term relationship, and this is good for developing of your relationship. So if you're going to use competitive style, then you have to be aware that this relationship will probably not last long. It will be something very short. So what about your style? What you have to ask yourself before you start negotiations? What is your preferred negotiation style? What does it, where does this preference come from? Maybe you have learned something, maybe you saw something of this. Is it influenced by your culture or socialization? Do you have some experience? Maybe you have some experiences with the competitive style, so it is very hard for you to develop a cooperative. You will find it like having some negative adjectives regarding cooperative. You are weak or something. Maybe this is the case. Where are your strengths in negotiation? Maybe you're good in preparing. Maybe you're good in bargaining. What is your strength? And where do you see the room for improvement? And also, what is important, the expected style in your business industry. Sometimes if you are in construction business, there is a lot of competitiveness in this area, and people are using much this competitive style. For example, this is not always in every construction industry, but it is something very recognizable in this industry. So it is very important types of questions which you are using. For example, if you are using closed question, the aim is to prepare a decision, check if the way argumentation is being accepted. So we will use questions which start with was, where, or would. These are very closed questions. I don't like to use it very much, but sometimes it is impossible to avoid them. For example, were you able to deliver punctually? You cannot ask this differently, maybe. Then you have these open questions. These questions are thought questions, and you can use them as much as you want. You want to find some options, points of view, decisions, and desires in detail. So you will use questions which start with what, who, and why. Why is that important for you? Who else is involved? What do you think? This is a very important question. Then you have these alternative questions, and the aim is decision for one of the other or two alternatives which are both in your favor. For example, which kind of belt do you prefer, automatic belts or normal belts? Then you have these questions for understanding. You can use it as many times if you want. Have I understood you correctly? This is something which can help you in your negotiation, just to summarize everything what is going on. So you believe that this thing will help me with something. So this question you can, put as the first one which can help you in your negotiation argument and process. Basic conditions of negotiation. Well, first you have to know with whom you are going to have negotiations. If there is a person who is not a decision maker, then you don't have a negotiation, because this person cannot decide anything. So this is the first question. When you go somewhere, just prepare yourself and ask who is decision-making authority. Second thing, which is very important, where these negotiations are taking place. Is this some neutral place, or this person are going to come to you, or you are going to them? If you're going to see them, then this is not neutral space. Do you have a seating arrangements, appropriate one? This is very important, because if you are coming to some company and you are coming alone, and then you come to this big room, for example, or let's say that you're coming to one small room without windows. It is outside is very cold and the room is not heated. And you in front of you have 4 different people. What do you feel? Do you feel good in that room? And every of them, they are sitting opposite of you. You don't feel very good. So this is like a hostile example of going to someone else's premises. So sitting arrangements are very important. Where do you sit? Where your opponents are sitting? Is this some cooperative style? Is this competitive? If this is competitive, then you will invite your opponents to come in this kind of room, very small, without water, without food, without windows, and you want to show them that you are in charge. So don't do this. Just be polite and try some cooperative ways. Do you have enough time for the negotiation? This is also important, because you will never know. Some questions will arise, some situation will arise, so you need to have enough time. Do you or have you informed various parties in good time? Is this good for them? Do they have enough time? Do they feel okay with this time? And also you have to prepare that you won't be interrupted. So make arrangements concerning the food and drink, and also prepare technical arrangements for display materials in that room. So for you, I would say everything of these things is important. So look upon them. So this is negotiation process. The first one and the last one, they are very important, but people always or sometimes, I don't know, they forget about preparation, which is very, very important for you. Because when you're going somewhere and you prepare yourself for everything, this is better than to go there without any preparation and without thinking what you can win and what you can lose. You have to be prepared for the different scenarios. So preparation is very, very important. And then you have this opening. Try to make this opening soft. You are going to talk about the problem which arises, and then you go to clarification, finding solution, decision making, closure, and don't forget about follow up, to send them, invite people to inform them what you have concluded and where the process is going further. So how how you're going to prepare a negotiation. First, take a look what kind of personalities you will meet. You will have maybe different kind of personalities, and you have to be aware of them. What are your strengths, weaknesses, and characteristics? What are their strengths, weaknesses, and characteristics? Who is decision maker? This is important. You will talk to this person. Then clarify your interest. What is the actual situation? What is the main objective? What are side objectives? What is the maximum realistic and minimal goal? What you have to know at the beginning of negotiation. What is the maximum you want to achieve? What is something realistic? And what is minimum? What is non-negotiable? Maybe something not maybe, but sure, something will be non-negotiable, and you will have to stop here. And then you have to consider the situation of the other side. What will the other side achieve? What is their major objective? You can, make some presumptions. And what could be non-negotiable for them? They also have something they don't want to negotiate about. So if you think of the first column, mutualities detect the common ground. The more you find, the chances of agreement are bigger. The more you find about your counterpart, the chances of an agreement are bigger. In clarifying your interest, you have to have your plan for concessions. Some things you will have to say, okay, I will give it as a concession. So prioritize your interest, high, medium, low. Detect useful arguments and decide what information to use and what to keep. Some information will not, they're not something you should maybe say. You have to see what is for you something you will keep. And then pressurizing, will you apply pressure, some kind of pressure, deadlines, some deliveries or something like that? When to walk away? When you're thinking about walking away, then you have to be aware then the negotiation will fail. What you will do? Is it something you can really go away from, or you want to, have an agreement, no cost? What you will lose? You have to be aware what you will lose. So you have to decide some tactical maneuvers of the other side and your reaction. Maybe you will have some kind of aggressive person from the other side. You have to handle this somehow. We will talk about types of participants and how to handle them in this webinar also. So there is one technique which is very important and very familiar in negotiation strategy, and it is called tit for tat, strategy for equivalent retaliation. It means this is rational decision making, and when you're going to negotiation, you will not first move with competitive behavior. You will always move with cooperative behavior, and you will use your competitive behavior only to protect yourself against being taken advantage by your opponent, but not for attacking another person. It is always wise to be more cooperative in negotiations than your counterpart. This is something what political scientist Robert Axelrod found, that when you start in cooperative way, the less is a chance to from another side to compete with you or be too aggressive if you are cooperative at the beginning. But if they attack you, then you attack back, or just being quiet and try to understand, trying to find the solution for this position. Tit for tat offers 4 effective traits: clarity, friendliness, forgiveness, and reaction on provocation. So what you have to do in tit for tat, be transparent. Opponent can tell you how you will behave. When you come to this negotiation, your opponent, you will give them the chance to start first, to show how they want to behave. Be friendly, never be first to defect. Forgive if the opponent stops, you stop also. Counterattack, fight back if the opponent did it last time. This is tit for tat, strategy. This is very good strategy to, have the good agreement on your table signed. So when you think about negotiators, then you think that these hardline negotiator people are more successful in negotiation than the soft partners, but this is not true. The researchers shown that these hardline negotiating people are successful if they have a soft partner, but if they encounter a hardliner, the negotiations often got bogged down and end up in a poor result because both sides insist on their positions. So they are not a better negotiator. It depends who is on the opposite side. There was one research among 1,300 negotiators. The subject was how well you are negotiating, and these are 5 things which this research wanted to test. And if we had now a workshop, I would like to ask you, what do you think, where the excellent negotiators spend the most time? But we don't have a workshop, so I will tell you. So the difference between skilled and average negotiator is that skilled negotiators spend more time in testing understanding to know what is the problem, and to ask, did you mean this? How do you feel about that? So they are spending more time on testing. Then in giving feelings, you would never say that, but they spend a lot of time in giving feelings in negotiations, and of course in summarizing. Excellent negotiators do not waste their time that much in making proposals and attack and defense strategies. This is something where they don't put that much energy. So testing, understanding, summarizing, and giving feelings are very, very important in success of negotiations. So now we come to Harvard principles. So we have here 5 principles of cooperative negotiation. Before we come to this, I would like to say that you don't have to concentrate only on facts, but also on the perception, subjective perceptives, because every negotiating partner perceives the matter of negotiation from his perspective. Every one of us we have our own perspective, and we see things differently. The individual mood, former experience, inner convictions, and moral values, as well as the cultural environment, influence the way the negotiator perceives the matter of negotiation. So it is very dangerous for the relationship between negotiating partners to regard the perception of the opposing party as counterproductive, malicious, absurd, or to disqualify it in any other way. It is better to use your own communicative competences in order to understand the opposing perception. So some recommendations for that is try clearly to elaborate the perception, determine the perception both parties agree on, and understand and accept the different perceptions. We see the world differently. We see the negotiation differently, but we have to understand each other to start the negotiations. So the first principle is separate the people from the problem. Soft on people, hard on facts. What does it mean? So we have mixing factual problems with relationship problems, so that this damages the relation and slows down the progress of the negotiations. Some of the following recommendations can help you. For example, try to identify relationship problems and treat them separately from factual problems. Check the relationship with your negotiating partner concerning mutual confidence, mutual acceptance, and efficient communication. And create mutual confidence by acting in trustworthy manner. Trust is very, very important in every process, especially in negotiation. You have to treat people with respect and appreciation, because they will feel, like you respect them. They will feel confident, and they will have they will have this better relationship between you. So you have to communicate professionally at any time of negotiation, and also invest not just in making trust and good relationship, but also in communication, in your communication skills. Then we have second principle: concentrate on interest, not on positions. First, you have to know what is your own interest, what you want to accomplish, and sometimes women have problem just to say what they want. Showing interest is something what is not good, but in business you have to know to say I want this and this, not in politely, and show your own interest, and not taking the position too early. Find out about the underlying interest, why, what for. Some people, they just say, I would like to conclude this agreement, and I want, I don't know, to have some kind of agreement for example, delivering watermelons. But something is this is not the only thing what they want. They want collaboration, they want long-term relationship, they want different things. So you have to know what is underlying interest. Maybe they want something else what you don't see, but you have to focus on your common interest first, and then to see what is underlying interest. A magic question here is, help me to understand why you want this. Why is this important for you? Why you cannot deliver me 10,000 tons of watermelons? The other party will probably say, maybe I don't have enough workers. I cannot do it in this time, something like that. So do not judge your counterpart's interest. Maybe the interest can be funny for you, but for them it is very important. This is also something very important for you. Third principle: jointly develop as many options as possible. Evaluate and decide later. So when a counterpart says, okay, I give you offer for this, maybe you can, find some additional options. Think about it, discuss it with them, some models, variants. I always think, I want to work for a supermarket and I want these 10 tons of watermelons to deliver. And they say, okay, but I need 20 tons and I need it not in 1 week, I need it tomorrow. What you will do, what you can do. You have to think, okay, they want to work with you and I also want to work with you, but the problem is that I don't have this kind of workers and I need some more time. What you can do, what we can do together to put this agreement on. Any delay in rejection from creativity potential has been exhausted. Just don't do it. Try to find solutions with your partner. If you are in cooperative style, then find as much as possible solutions to deliver these watermelons, for example. Fourth principle: insist on using objective criteria, fair standards, and processes. Look for some objective criteria. For example, some prices for watermelons before, former contracts, market prices, something before, which is not dependent on all parties' interests. Apply for all involved partners and can therefore be binding, and allow standardization for future negotiations. When you set an agreement for something, next time when you come to negotiate, the counterpart party will pull out this agreement and say, but we have agreed upon these conditions and this price. What do you want to share to change this? You have to see what kind of standards you want and what kind of prices and some deliveries and some of these things, time frame, for example. This is also important. Fifth principle is decide for or against a negotiation result by comparing it to your best alternative. BATNA is best alternative to negotiated agreement. something which is developed, and you can finally agree to a result only if it's better than your plan B. So you can develop potential alternatives when preparing for negotiations. Alternative A, B, C, maximum, minimum, or realistic. What kind of agreement you want to accomplish? How to make some concessions? You know, you have to. You need to have that kind of preparation. And this is button checklist. What would be the worst or best case for you? Are you prepared to, stop the negotiation, go without an agreement? What kind of consequences would it have for you if no agreement is made? Are you going to, to bankruptcy, or what will happen to you? What result could you attain outside this negotiation if no agreement is achieved? Sometimes, when I was going to find sponsors for my conference, I went to one automotive company in Croatia, but I was, a year. There was a year between this sponsorship and before my contacting them. I contacted them a year before I went for sponsors. This is what I mean. I asked them if they want to have some education about different things, and they said, no, we don't need it. Thank you very much, but we are not interested. And then in second year, I went for sponsorship, and they said, yes, we remember you. You wanted to make some educations here, but okay, we are interested in participating in your conference, and we will give you some kind of sponsorship for this event. So you never know what will come up for you if no agreement is achieved. Maybe you will make some other agreement for some other thing. If you put yourself in the position of the other party, how would you judge your own ideas? Is this something you would, if you were your counterpart, what do you think about you? What do you think about the offer you have presented? This is also something important. And also, before you go to court, think of the things you can lose. So maybe you can succeed in making arrangements before you go to court. Negotiations are not always they are not always connected to court, but when you sign an agreement, you always have this article when it says if any disputes are going to be between parties, then the court here and there will be contacted, for example. So you have to think about it. It is good when the things are going well, but when they are not going well, then you might have a problem. Also consider how highly do you value the probability that you can also achieve a winning judgment. I was working in this construction company, and we had this agreement with one government of other country, not in Croatia, but other country. And at the end, we went to the court, and after 2 years, we won this how do you say that, in court. We want this settlement, but it takes us 2 years. You have to be prepared for this time. Dealing with certain participant types. So when you come to the negotiations, you can have, for example, somebody who is weak and nervous. These people are influenced by strong personalities in the group. They don't feel appreciated in that group, so they have a lack of sense of belonging. So what you will do with this person? Try to use eye contact to encourage these participants to contribute, and praise their contributions and draw attention to their opinions in order to encourage them to make further contributions. Always use open question for these kind of people. Then you have this dominant type. they are full of energy and ideas, but they may be afraid that others will come up with better ideas if they are given the floor. So look out for these people, especially in brainstorming sessions. You can encourage these people to listen to others. This is very challenging for them because they want to say all these great ideas and they have a lot of energy. So request from them to confirm that they have understood what has been said. You have to be very careful because you have to keep their interests alive and control their contributions by summarizing what they have said. And then calling upon others to express their own opinions, because this person, they have a lot of ideas and the other person do not come in a position to have a floor. So ensure that dominant participants do not lose sight of their aims. Then you have this uninterested type. They perceive no personal benefit in what is being discussed. Their interest is somewhere else entirely. They're looking through the window. They're not even in this room with their thoughts and so on. So they don't have any incentive to be part of the group. And because there is something about it that does not meet with their approval. So what can you do here? You can encourage these people to participate by finding out where their interests lie. If this fails, you should confront this attitude and consider whether there is any point in these people taking any further part in a meeting. Then you have this aggressive type. I am always a little bit afraid of aggressive type because this attitude is a result of their frustration. So these people have the impression that their independent endeavors are being blocked. Aggressiveness can also be the result of guilt feelings arising when somebody believes he has performed poorly in the eyes of the group. This is some kind of their defense mechanism. So how can you help if you have this kind of person in your meeting, on your negotiations? This can be resolved by attempting to understand the reason for it and deal with them correctly. You can give this person concern and opportunity to air their grievance, and then looking at the facts objectively. However, responsible for assuring the productive process of the meeting, you are responsible for ensuring the productive process of the meeting. It might be sometimes necessary to ask a troublesome participant to leave the meeting, or you can interrupt the meeting and speak to the person privately. I had this situation once. I had a lecture. It was around 100 people in one city in Croatia. And one guy, he was there whole day. I was at the end with my presentation, and he was making troubles to everyone. And when I came, he was, waiting all day to do something. And he said, well, I thought you know more than I. I thought I will get something out of your lecture. And everybody was saying to him, just stop, let her do this to the end, don't do it, and so on. But we could not, stop him behaving like that. And then I said to him, okay, can you please come here in front of everyone and tell us what you have to offer, because I'm not a good lecturer. Maybe you can, just show us how this can be done, and can you just tell us what knowledge do you have, what are your recommendations about the subject? And then he stopped. He just didn't want to ask any other question, or he didn't want to, interrupt anymore. Then you can have the cynical type, because for them, nothing to do with me, no point to do it anyway. This is somebody who is cynical. He feels bitterness that their past efforts were not rewarded. So what can you do? Remind them of the ground rules and purpose of the meeting and their obligation. You should not permit a habitual cynic to sit at the back. Just put them at the front or your right side, If nothing else, if this does not come up good, you can also buttonhole this person and on the fringe of the meeting and make it clear to him what you will put up with and what not. So this is for the cynic. And then you have a long-winded type. They like the sound of their own voice in the room all the time. So they just like to hear themselves. They like to be at the center. So their participation in the meeting may be pointless or irrelevant unless they are needed for the implementation of adopted measures. So when you have this kind of person, just don't ask and don't invite them to a meeting. And sometimes you will not have ability, and you will not know what kind of participant will be on the negotiations. So you can deal with them on the way that you summarize what they said, where this reflects the purpose of the meetings, and give the floor to other participants in order to move the meeting on. When these people digress from the topic, remind them of agreed aims and of all the time for time limit for the meeting. You will always have this kind of person who like to explain very widely. They, they are taking a lot of time, and then just remind them the aim of the meeting and cut them off and try to give the floor to other person. This is when you have you are in charge for the negotiations and you have a lot of people in the room. So if you want to be a successful negotiator, these are basic requirements. First, you need to have basic knowledge and understanding of the process of negotiation. First, and the most important thing is to prepare. Then you need to have ability to keep to the facts, even if the other party expresses strong emotional feelings. For example, you have aggressive person. You always have to come up with the facts and going back to the facts. Then you need to have ability to keep to the point permanently without destroying the interpersonal relationship, because relationships are important. But on the other hand, if you have competitive style and you are in the competitive position, then you are not going to think about relationship because you want to set the agreement and you are not interested in the relationship. Then you have to have ability to improve an existing interpersonal relationship without having to make concessions within the factual level. Making concessions. This is important because you can always make some kind of concessions. Try with those which are not that relevant to you. Being able to say what you want. This is also important because you can, lose lots of time in speaking and communicating and not telling what you really want. And that for the other person, this is your counterpart, this is something very exhausting. The ability to listen actively, to understand the other person, and to have to use these questions I have read to you, open questions, some other kinds of questions to understand the position, and the interest and readiness to learn from every negotiation. You will have, I have negotiated one workshop I have to do now in a few days, and I'm not very happy with the price I achieved. But I have to do it. I promised I will go there and I will do it. I'm not very happy, but when I was doing the negotiation, I was not thinking. But for my next education, I will really think about this, and I will not do the same mistake, because you can always learn what you could do, what it went wrong, and what it can be better. You need to have bad negotiations. Just in order to see how the good ones are okay and how to learn from them. So best negotiation practices. I will just I will just read some of them, not all of them, but first one is the best one. Everyone is a negotiator and everything is negotiable. Everything what you think of, it can be negotiable. Power listening. This is really important to understand, test understanding, and being patient. Always, it is always about your attitude. If you have a good attitude, then positive things will come up. Prepare, prepare, prepare. It is not enough preparation for the negotiation. Then focus on your trust, relationship, and interest. See what is your interest in what you want to achieve. At the beginning, in the opening part, don't forget to be warm up. Show your feelings, show your emotions. Don't cry, please. But show that you are confident that this is a good environment, that you appreciate your counterpart and things like that. Try to understand their interests early. If you don't that, then you will, successfully manage this negotiation. You know what they want, so you can make your offer much better. And for example, be ready to challenge first offers. When somebody gives you first offer, try to find some solutions. Start thinking, okay, this is a good offer, but can we do this? What do you think about that? Just don't, say, okay, thank you very much. This is a good offer. I will do it. It doesn't seem good in negotiation, because you just confirmed or taken what the other side is giving you, and like you are not fighting enough for that. Then think about your concessions, and also summarize early and often. This is important, just to have this understanding. Summarize early. If you reach impasse, handle it gracefully to avoid deadlock, and always at the end thank your counterpart for the agreement, or if there is no agreement, thank them for their time which they spent with you to make some kind of agreement. Thank you for your attention.